everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Melissa with DIY with Melissa, and today I'm coming to you from a different spot. I'm coming to you from my dining room table. Why, you ask? Well, we are setting up a paint night for my daughter and I am going to teach you how to create these stenciled canvases using HTV, and we're going to do all of this in Design Space and get these going. It's a lot of fun to do. It's really easy. The hardest part, honestly, was weeding, and we have a fun night ahead. This can be used for, of course, your family night, a family paint night, girls' night, couples' night. For a birthday party, you can do a paint session with the kids. So without further ado, let's head over to the computer and get this started. We are back at the computer, and as you know, I'm doing this paint night as a Halloween paint night. So that's why we have all the Halloween um, images up on our screen. However, this can be done for so many other reasons. As I mentioned, we can do it as a sip and paint night with some girlfriends or guy friends or a mixture of both. It can be a couples paint night. That will be really cute. We can do palm trees, ocean views, that kind of thing for your couples one or some type of love type of thing. And of course, for kids' birthday parties, family nights, there are so many options on how to do a paint night themed canvas. So I am going to do this as a family one, and I'm doing it for Halloween, of course, because Halloween is coming up. So that's again why I have the Halloween images up. However, if you wanted to do a themed one for a kid's birthday party, let's say the theme is pets. So we can do pet coloring pages. And here are your pets that come up. And of course, we can scroll and scroll and scroll for a very long time. Cricut has many images available to you, but what you're looking for is designs that are just outlines. So the white interior will be the canvas. The black is what's going to be cut from your HTV. You don't want something extremely difficult to weed, unless that's what you feel for, then of course do that. But this is going to take some time to weed and some patience as well, because the design is very small. So those are my tips for when you are searching for designs. Like, look at this little puppy. She's so cute. That would be a good one. This would be a good one. I always put coloring at the end of the theme name because this is going to give me the coloring pages. And again, you don't want anything too difficult to weed. Like this dinosaur will be a little difficult to weed. We also do have to play around with it when we get back to our canvas, but I'll show you that in a second. We can do love coloring. So we have a pencil. Again, this is going to be very difficult to weed, but we have some options here that you can do for your loved one, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, whatever the case may be. So there are so many options here that you can choose from. So I've searched up kids' birthday coloring and these come up. Of course, like I mentioned, you want to do it according to your theme of your birthday. So if, for instance, your birthday theme is princesses, so Disney princess, we can search up princesses coloring, and here we go. So your options are truly endless, and this project can be done for so many different reasons. And I think I'm going to have a paint night more often than I think. Once you're happy with your project, your images, we'll bring them into the canvas and we're just going to ensure that they're going to cut the way we want them to cut. So for instance, before I attached this pumpkin, it is in two portions for some reason. I have no idea what the reason is, but that is the case, which is fine. So when I hit make, I'm going to hide these three. When I hit make, Cricut's going to cut this portion by itself and this portion by itself. We want it all together, and that's the reason why I'm attaching it. Cancel out of here. I'm going to select both pieces and attach. And now Cricut is going to cut everything together as one piece. So keep that in mind if you have images that have portions that will be cutting separately. So for instance, this cat portion is going to cut all of these pieces separately and mumble jumbled. I don't want that. I want it to be together. So I'm going to hit attach. When I hit make, here's my cat all in one piece. And that way it's very simple to weed. So that's another thing to keep in mind. The other thing you can do is bring your grid lines on and ensure that the grid lines are showing through and that you don't have any full pieces. So I'm going to make this smaller. There we go. So as you can see the grid lines through the hat, the little pom-pom, all portions of here, except for the eyes and this little portion under the eyes, which is fine for it to be black. Ultimately, what portion you'll be painting will be the inside. Of course, it's a ghost, so you'll probably leave it white, but then we have the cup and this extra pumpkin and the hat to paint for this image. The pumpkin on this side here, the entire image can be painted. In between the lines, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the flowers beneath the hat, flowers on top. Same thing with the cat and the trick or treat. So I would say the things you look for are projects that are not going to be super difficult to weed. The second thing is that the project is actually just an outline and not a full design. So that, like, for instance, the hat's not filled in here. We can see the grid lines. And yeah, and of course, matches your theme that you are creating these for. Before I hit make, the last thing I would say is bring in a square or a rectangle of your canvas, the size of what the canvas will be. So I'm going to do these on 10 by 10 canvases. So I do have them sized set to 10 by 10. And you're going to put each one of your images on top. You can center it as well, just to get an idea of if it will fit on the canvas or not. Because you don't want it to be too big and it can't fit on the canvas and you have to recut it and waste material. So each one of these, we will make it bigger and center to ensure it will fit. Perfect. So your template of your canvas will be based, the size will be based on how big your canvas is that you'll be using. So keep that in mind. Like I said, my canvases are 10 by 10 canvases. So I've made my template a 10 by 10 canvas. Once all of that is complete, we can delete the canvas and we can hit make. The last thing you do need to remember to do is mirror your design. This is really important because if you don't, then you're going to be ironing this image onto your canvas backwards. We don't want that. When we hit continue, we will of course choose heat transfer vinyl. And depending on how sharp your blade is, you can give it more or less pressure. So I'm going to move to the craft table, get these all cut out, and get them pressed. Or I'll meet you there in just a moment. Okay, our first project is now cut. I don't know if you can see that. Like I said, make sure you mirror the image so you don't have any issues. And I'm going to get this weeded. Now, I prefer weeding on the mat. To me, it just keeps things in place. You don't have that curling issue that will happen. So that's what I prefer. The other thing is I also like to have my design up on my computer screen so that I can refer back to it. Sometimes when weeding, it's kind of hard to know where to weed and where not to weed. So just keep those two things in mind. But I will just start with weeding the outside first. And there's something so satisfying about weeding heat transfer vinyl. Actually, before I continue on, I think I'm going to remove this portion because I can keep it for a small project. So we'll keep going with this. The weeding's all done. As you can see, I'm having some issues with this HTV. I'm not sure why it's doing this because I've used this brand before and it didn't do this to me. So I'm going to be returning it because I don't really know what the issue is or why it did this. But even like in weeding, you can see that this clear part is supposed to be what is going to get stuck onto the canvas, and it's coming up. So now, will it stick to the canvas? I don't know. We're going to find out in just a second. Once everything is clean, we're going to use our mini press and start pressing. You can, of course, use a bigger heat press. You just need to get something for the inside here that will help put pressure. So when you're putting your pressure down, this is not going to be pushing through the frame of the canvas. So keep that in mind when you're pressing. I like to use the mini press for these types of projects just because I have a little bit more control over it. But whatever works for you, please go ahead and do. So I'm going to grab my mini press, turn it on, I'll be right back. We are now ready to press. We've weeded our vinyl. Like I said, my vinyl was giving me major issues, but it's all good. Center it as well as you can. I'm just grabbing a piece of Teflon, and my easy press is set to the second setting, and I'll just gently press this along here. You may have seen I put 2 of my little decorative mats under to get a little bit more pressure when pressing because it is struggling a little bit just because of the canvas. So just any little thing that you can find to put under your canvas will work well. We're gonna let this cool a little bit and we'll remove it. Once your project cools down, and don't be like me, I snagged it right there by accident, but this is just for my family, so it's all good. But we'll remove the protective sheet on top gently. You want to make sure that everything is stuck. A little bit of lifting there, that's okay. We'll get that fixed right now. We'll get our Teflon sheet or our butcher paper. I'm going to grab the places that I lifted just a touch first. We'll just put it all across. And voila. We have one canvas ready to be painted. So we'll get the other one done quickly and get this all set up. And there you have it. Your 2 canvases are now ready for your paint night. Family paint night, couples paint night, a birthday party for kids, paint session. There are so many ways you can use this project. It's really simple. Get better HTV than I did. That was simple. Took all of 5 minutes to grab your images. The cutting and the weeding is the hardest part, and then you have your canvases all ready for your paint setup. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. It came out super adorable, and as you know, my vinyl wasn't great, but it actually didn't turn out that bad. At the bottom there's some like jaggedy edges, but other than that, it's pretty cute. So just my daughter and I was gonna do 4 for my other daughter, my husband, and they backed out. So just the youngest one and myself. We'll do our little paint night together, just the 2 of us, which is always a nice thing. And more importantly, I hope you give this a try. Like I said, our one is Halloween themed because Halloween's coming up, but this is a perfect project for birthdays, couples nights, girls nights, whatever the case may be. So do not sleep on this one. Get your black vinyl, find your images. I showed you how to do that earlier, and get ironing, and then have fun painting. I hope you give this a try, and if you do, as always, don't forget to tag me in it or leave me a comment below. Let me know what you thought of the project, and of course, do not forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell button so that you are notified of when I post new videos. Happy Halloween, have a fabulous week ahead, happy crafting. Bye now.